Dear students, welcome to the session of 9th standard geography lesson 4 hydrosphere. Already just you have classed the 3 lessons regarding the spheres of the earth, lithosphere, atmosphere, and the third one is hydrosphere, fourth one is biosphere. Isn't it okay? Hydrosphere, hydro means water, you know very well. So what we will go to learn from this lesson, okay, to understand the importance of water. What are the learning objectives from this lesson? To understand the importance of water, to learn about the nature, uses and the distribution of fresh and salt water, to understand the relief features of the ocean floor, to study about the movements of ocean water, to learn about the marine resources and the need for the conservation. Okay, mainly we will go to discuss about the what is that water. Come to the introduction. See, we know that our planet Earth consists of 4 spheres, namely lithosphere, which is nothing but land, atmosphere, which is nothing but air, hydrosphere, which is nothing but water. Biosphere means what is that? On mixing or combination of lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, which is nothing but earth. Okay. So in the earlier chapters we have studied about lithosphere and atmosphere. We shall discuss about the hydrosphere in this lesson, right? First one is hydrosphere. What is meant by hydrosphere? Okay. You know very well, one of the most inseparable natural resource on the earth is water. Okay. The earth is also called the blue planet. What is the reason? The reason is as it holds the water in abundance. Large amount of the water is available only in the where is that earth, so it is called as blue planet. Okay, and thus it stands unique, important among all other planets. Okay, we can't say surely other spheres are available for the water or not, but in the hydrosphere compulsory it is available for the large amount of the what is that water. Okay, there is no doubt at all. Hydrosphere consists of water in various forms on the earth. Nearly 97% of the water on the earth's surface is confined, provided to oceans, actually available in oceans. Less than 3% of the water is held in the what is that land areas. Okay, maybe such as glaciers, ice caps, groundwater, that is in rivers, lakes and also ponds, water vapor in the air also. Okay, this is hydrosphere. What is meant by hydrological cycle? Hydrological cycle. See, the earth's water is not static. I mean not what is that? Constant. It is always in motion. I mean moving. It's always in motion. That is moving. Okay. This continuous movement of water on, above and below the earth's surface is called the what is that? Hydrological cycle. Okay. The 3 major processes involved in the water cycle are evaporation, condensation and what is that? Precipitation. Evaporation, condensation and what is that? Precipitation. Okay. Water and water vapor, it's formed constantly. That is ice, water and water vapor. Ice, water and what is that? Water vapor. Okay. This process happens in the blink of an eye or even million of years. Or even what is that? Million of years. See, water resource of the earth can be broadly divided into 2 categories. One is fresh water, another one is what is that? Salt water. Okay. First one is fresh water. What is meant by fresh water? See, rainwater is considered to be the purest form of the water. Rainwater is considered to be what is the purest form of the water, because it contains very less proportion of the what is that? Salt. It contains what is that? Very less proportion of the salt when compared to the ocean water. Which one? Rainwater contains very less proportion of the salt. It compared to the what is that? Ocean water. You know very well. Ocean water becomes very salty. Okay, it contains of very salt. Hence, the rainwater is called the what is that? Fresh water. A major part of the fresh water is found in the frozen state, frozen form. Okay, as in the form of ice caps and glaciers. Right, around 1% of its which one? Fresh water found as a liquid. Okay, in the rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, etc. See, the surface water may also penetrate means entering into through the porous rocks, maybe the simple invisible holes available in the rocks, and gets collected beneath under the earth's surface. This is called groundwater. Okay, you know very well, Finland is known as the land of 1,000 lakes. There are nearly 1,87,888 lakes in the where is that? Finland. Okay, so next one is fresh water, ocean water. Ocean water, the continents and oceans are however not evenly distributed in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. Okay, northern hemisphere, actually in the globe, top is northern hemisphere, down that is the southern hemisphere. See, the northern hemisphere holds nearly 61% of the land, whereas the southern hemisphere holds 81% of the water. Due to the northern hemisphere contains 61% of the land, it is called as what is that? Land hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it contains 81% of water. It is called as what is that? Water hemisphere. I mean, the land hemisphere is called as northern, and then water hemisphere is called what is that? Southern hemisphere. Okay, so oceans and seas are considered as a resource bowl of the earth because of immense availability, biggest availability of food, minerals, etc. Okay, present distribution of the world's ocean and major seas are illustrated that separately. We'll discuss from the map. Okay, what about the relief of the ocean floor? Relief of the the ocean basins are characterized by the following 6 types for them actually. First one is a continental shelf, continental slope, continental rise, okay, deep sea plain or abyssal plain, and then oceanic deep, and then oceanic ridge. We will discuss one by one. These are the major relief features of what is that? Ocean. See, first one is continental shelf. What is meant by continental shelf? A shallow and gently sloping platform extending out from adjoining continental land mass into the sea is called as what is that? Continental shelf. Okay, it is almost a uniform zone of seabed with a gentle gradient, I mean the slope. Okay, the continental shelf is of great significance for the 2 reasons. One is they are shallower, thus enables the sunlight is possible to penetrate through the water. This encourages abundant growth of grass, seaweeds and plankton. Okay, hence these zones became the richest fishing grounds in the world. Example, we can say the Grand Banks of New Zealand, I think Newfoundland actually. Okay, and then the continental shelves have extensive deposits of minerals and mineral fuels. One is rich fishing grounds, another one is rich kind of minerals and mineral fuels also. Hence this zone became accessible for oil drilling and mining activities. Okay, very best example from India is Mumbai High in the Arabian Sea. Mumbai High in the Arabian Sea. Okay, second one is a continental slope. What is meant by continental slope? A steep slope which descends, slows down. Okay, from the edge of the continental shelf to the deep ocean bed is called as continental slope. Right? It forms a boundary between continental crust and the oceanic crust. Continental crust and the, what is that? Oceanic crust. Okay, this zone is free from deposits as they are steep. Because of steep, the most important characteristic of the continental slope is presence of deep canyons and trenches. Okay, nothing but மிக ஆழமான பகுதிகள், மிக ஆழமான பகுதிகள். Okay, trenches is nothing but, right? Due to the low penetration, low entry of the sunlight, the slope has nearly freezing temperature. Hence, aquatic life is very slow rate of metabolism. I think as like as continental shelf, no, it's not possible to grow any of the seaweeds or the what is the plankton, something else. Next one goes to the continental rise. At the base of the continental slope is a gently sloping layer of sediments which merge into the deep sea floor. This underwater feature found between continental slope and abyssal plain is called the continental rise. Okay, it consists of submarine fans which are similar to the alluvial fans found on the what is that? Land. Okay, next one is the deep sea plain or abyssal plain. Fourth one, see the deep sea plains or abyssal plains are underwater plains or what is that? Underwater plains found on the deep ocean floor. These plains extend from continental rise to the mid of the oceanic ridges. Okay, see the gradient of the slope is very gentle. Gradient of the slope is what is that? Very gentle, and it appears as a uniform flat and featureless plain. See, these plains are usually covered by what is that? It is covered by thick layer of sediments. Thick layer of what is that? Fertile soil. Nothing but fertile soil consists of clay, silt and sand brought by the rivers. Okay, therefore so these are often characterized by features like abyssal hills, sea mounds, gyots, corals and what is that? Atolls, etc. Right? Then the fifth one is oceanic deep. What is meant by oceanic deep? Trenches are the deepest ஆழமான பகுதிகள். trenches are the deepest part of the oceans and occupy about 70% of the total relief of the ocean floor. Okay, the ocean temperature in the trench is slightly cooler than the freezing temperature, as they are sediment free. Okay, here there is no sediments for that. Most trenches are V-shaped with steep sides. Okay, epicenter of the great earthquakes are found in the what is the trenches. Okay, next one is the oceanic ridge. See, oceanic ridge is a continuous submarine mountain chain. They are made of what is that? They are made of a young basaltic rock. They are made of what is that? Young basaltic rock formed when two tectonic plates move apart. In the earth consists of a lot of the tectonic plates, no, that is always moving, often and often clashing, dashing, colliding. Okay, the mid-ocean ridge is probably the most extensive single feature of the Earth's topography. Topography is nothing but structure of the land. Okay, then the two of the most well-known mid-oceanic ridges are, one is Mid-Atlantic Range, another one is East Pacific Range. Okay, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is the largest unbroken oceanic ridge. Okay, this one. And then movement of the ocean water. See, always already just we have seen that movement of the water is, the ocean water is dynamic. Okay, moving, always moving, not static, that is dynamic, that is moving. Temperature, salinity, density, external forces of the sun and moon and the winds keep the ocean waters in movement, both horizontally and what is that? Vertically. Okay, waves and currents are in motion, and tides have the what is that? Vertical motion. Okay, waves horizontal motion and tides what is that? Vertical. Okay, first one is waves. See, of all the movements of the oceans, sea waves are considered to be the strongest. What is that? Strongest. Sea waves are ripples on water caused when winds blow over the sea. What is that? Sea. Okay, the height of these waves depends on the speed of the wind, its duration, and the direction of the wind from which they blow. Sometimes waves are also caused by the tremors felt on the ocean floor. Such waves are quite destructive, are called as tsunami. You know very well, no? Tsunami was happened in 2004, no? Okay, tsunami. Okay, then tides. The periodic rise and fall of sea water due to the gravitational pull of the sun and moon on the earth are called tides. Okay, these tides are classified broadly into spring tide and what is that? Neap tide. Okay, first one is when the sun, moon and earth are aligned the same line, the collective gravitation pull of the sun and moon on earth's water strengthens to form the high tide is known as a spring tide. Such tides always occur on the full moon and what is that? New moon days. Okay, that's the first one, spring tide. Same thing, when the sun and the moon are right angle, or what is that? Right angle, their gravitational forces work against each other, causing a low tide called neap tide. Spring tide, neap tide. See, a neap tide occurs between two spring tides, that is twice a month. That is when the first and last quarter of the what is that? Moon appears. First and last quarter of the what is that? Moon appears. Okay, and then ocean current. That means movement. Current means what is the movement? Direction of the water where it goes to flows inside the sea. Isn't it? Okay. Cold current, warm current, you know very well, no? The movement of oceanic water on the surface, and at the depth in a definite direction is called the ocean current, which is nothing but movement of the water, maybe the surface of the sea or the what is that? Depth of the sea. Okay. See, ocean currents are in clockwise motion in the northern hemisphere and the anti-clockwise motion in the what is that? Southern hemisphere. Okay. What are the factors that generate the ocean currents? Earth's rotation, prevailing winds, available winds, differences in temperature and salinity of the what is that? Salt of the ocean water. Okay, on the basis of the temperature, ocean currents are classified into warm current and cold current. Okay, the movement of ocean currents from the high latitude means temperate and polar zones, towards low latitude is called cold current. I mean the movement of the ocean water from high latitude to low latitude is called as cold current, right? And the same thing, this is the movements of the what is the ocean and the ocean water, ocean current, so and so. Next heading goes to marine resources available. Okay, what are the marine resources? What is meant by marine resources? Already just you have studied something about biotic and abiotic resources, isn't it? Okay, living and non-living, same thing. The biotic and abiotic resources found in the oceanic water and at the bottom are called marine resources. And at the bottom are called, what is that? Marine resources. The ocean's resources play a vital role, important role in sustaining the needs of the society. That provides needs of what is that society. Yeah, different arrays, I mean the different kinds of the marine organism is used for food, medicine, cosmetics, and what is that? Wealth of industrial applications also. Okay, so the world's demand for energy, minerals, and water have become increasingly dependent on the what is that? Non-living marine resources. Non-living marine resources. Okay, and then how can we actually we can classify the marine resources into three types, right? First one is the energy resources, another one is the mineral resources, another one is the biological resources. Okay, energy resources is nothing but energy fuels, tidal energy, wave energy, etc. Mineral resources is nothing but petroleum, natural gas, metallic minerals, sand, gravel, and etc. Okay, and then biological resources is nothing but fishes, plankton, sea grass, and corals, and etc. Okay, so how can we conserve of the marine resources? How can we conserve means how can we keep safely? How to keep protection for the mineral resources further? See, oceans are the lifeblood of the planet. Oceans are the what is that? Lifeblood of the planet, Earth and mankind, humankind. See, the humankind depends on the marine resources for its survival. See, if we want to survive, if we want to live, definitely we must depend on the what is that? Marine resources. Okay, it's unavoidable. They are also essential. That is, what is that? Must. They are also what is that? Must. Must for the economic prosperity, social well-being, and quality of life. Social well-being and what is that? Quality of life. Okay. In addition to that, a major fishing ground, it helps in generating non-conventional energy. Development of many ports and harbors for trade activities. Right. Coastal tourism also attracts people around the world, thereby contributing the economy of what is that? Many countries. Okay. So, and then what about the distribution of major ocean currents and effects? You know very well, nearly for, if we had taken for the South Atlantic Ocean, there was only one current that is called as cold current. That means Benguela current. It leads to, what is the effect of this one? Means, it leads to foggy conditions along the coast of Namibia, right? It helped in the development of Namibian and what is that? Kalahari deserts. Okay. Same thing. Next one is North Atlantic Ocean. In the water is also available, cold current is also available, and then warm current is also available. Okay. Canaries is one of the cold current, Gulf Stream is one of the warm current, and then North Atlantic Drift is one of the warm current. Okay. See, it may influence the extent of the Sahara Desert. Which one? Canaries, cold current. Gulf Stream warm current is nothing but its confluence with the Labrador current produces heavy fog along the coast of Newfoundland obstacles the navigation, that hinders, stays. Okay, hence the Newfoundland is the major fishing ground of the what is that? World. And then North Atlantic Drift is one of the warm current in the North Atlantic Ocean. It keeps the ports at higher latitude ice free throughout the year. Okay. Same thing, Labrador is also one of the cold current is available. Its influence with the Gulf Stream creates a fog and hinders navigation. Okay. Next one is South Pacific Ocean. There is also one of the cold current. That name is called as a Peruvian. And what is that? Humboldt current is available. It is one of the causes for the formation of Atacama Desert. Okay. Change in the nature of the Peruvian current is also associated the phenomena is called as El Nino. It's a complex weather phenomena, you know very well, no? Same thing. And then one more current is called as Kuroshio, that is a warm current. It plays a vital role in carrying large amount of heat to the adjacent land areas and forms cloud cover that causes what is a rainfall. Okay. Then the North Pacific Ocean, there two cold current is available, one warm current is available. One is Oshio, that's cold current. Its confluence with the what is that? Kuroshio current produces heavy fogs around Hokkaido, which became the potential hazards for navigation. Okay, so it is one of the major fishing ground of the world. Alaska current is the warm one. It keeps the seaports of Alaska open throughout the year. and California current is the cold one. It leads to foggy conditions along the coast of California. It's one of the reason for the formation of what is that Arizona and Sonata deserts. Okay, and last one is our Indian Ocean. There is one cold current, that name is called as West Australian current. Its effect is it leads to foggy conditions along the western coast of Australia. It helped in the niches of the what is the West Australian desert. Okay, these are the things available for this lesson, students. And then so far this lesson we have seen that hydrosphere is the third sphere of earth, is a collection of all forms of water on the earth. Okay, hydrological cycle is a continuous movement of the water on the earth. See, water is available on the earth as fresh water and salt water. Over 97% of the water on the earth's surface is confined to oceans. Okay, the 5 major oceans of the world are Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, and what is that? Arctic Ocean. Okay, and then the major relief of the ocean floor are continental shelf, continental slope, continental rise, abyssal plains, ocean deeps, and what is that? Ocean ridges. Okay, and then marine resources are nothing but biotic and abiotic resources found in the oceans. Okay, surface as well as the depth. And then finally, oceans are the lifeline of the earth and mankind, hence they need to be conserved. Okay, need to be conserved. One more important point is nothing but, see, the Gangetic dolphin was declared as the national aquatic animal in the year of 2010. This has become an endangered species. Okay, because of its risk. Okay, right. So these are the things available in this lesson, students. Hydrosphere, it's an important lesson also. To create your knowledge for that, read the lesson line by line and go through that. If you have any doubt, just call me or WhatsApp me. I will clear that. Okay, thank you, Nandar. We will meet later.